Donald Trump's criminal trial could possibly end this week, but questions about his mental fitness are only growing. This morning, while speaking to the press in what has become a routine complaint session before each day of his criminal trial, Donald Trump said something so bizarre that it has people wondering if he's okay. But of course, before Donald Trump could get into anything, he had to complain about how unfair life is and the cruel and unusual punishment he is suffering from being in a cold courtroom.
But we're here about an hour early today. I was supposed to be making a speech for political purposes. I'm not allowed to have anything to do with politics because I'm sitting in a very freezing cold courtroom for the last 4 weeks. Is very unfair.
This still blows my mind every time I hear Trump whine about the temperature in the room. With his freedom at stake, this man strangely cries about how cold the room is. Not exactly projecting strength with this. And after grumbling about the cold, Trump hit one of his favorite lies to bring up: crowd sizes.
And by the way, outside looks like it's supposed to be Fort Knox. There are more police than I've ever seen anywhere because they don't want to have anybody come down. There's not a civilian within 3 blocks of the courthouse. But at Columbia University, you can set up a tent and burn down the doors right opposite the front entrance. It's a disgrace.
This is clearly a lie. The streets around the courthouse are accessible. Here's footage from the park across the street showing that the public can come to the courthouse. They just aren't interested in supporting him.
So this is the scene outside the courthouse that Trump said looks like Fort Knox. There's people. There's some Trump supporters out here. Lots of people are just like yelling at each other, and I can't figure out like who they support. There's only 3 police. That's where Trump is, right there in that building. We're right across the street.
Where are Trump's supporters? I don't think this guy has the support that he thinks he does. And if he gets convicted in this trial, which let's hope happens, that support will drop even further. After rattling off his usual complaints, this is when Trump said something truly bizarre about what the trial is keeping him from doing. Let me know if you can make sense of what he's talking about here.
This all comes from the White House. It all comes from the DOJ in the White House. Take a look who's in the room. This all comes from the DOJ in the White House. It's an attack on Biden, who's mentally unfit. He's mentally unfit to be the president of this country. It's an attack on his political opponent. That's all it is. All of the things you saw over the last 4 weeks, most of it should have never even been brought up. And then on top of that, there's no crime. And we go on day after day, and I tell Iowa, I'm sorry, I won't be able to make it. I tell New Hampshire, sorry, I won't be able to make it. I'm sitting in an icebox all day. Today, this is Alan Dershowitz. Today, the target is Trump. Tomorrow, it may be a Democrat. After that, you and me, who knows? The criminal justice system is on trial in New York. It's making New York State. I love this state. I love the people of this state. I'm running hard in New York. I think we're going to win New York. But it's making New York and our judicial system. And then I had Judge Kaplan, who's horrible.
The Iowa and New Hampshire primaries were 4 months ago. Why would he be in those states for anything campaign related right now? Iowa's a solid red state, and New Hampshire isn't worth spending time in for the general election. These aren't battleground states. Trump appears to be confused about the election calendar or something. And why is he talking about winning New York State? Is he nuts? Joe Biden won New York in 2020 by 23%. There is no world in which Donald Trump wins New York. And this guy has the audacity to challenge Joe Biden's mental fitness? Absolutely incredible. Trump thought these press hits before and after his days in criminal court would be a great way to get some attention for his campaign. But these brief moments of Trump rambling just seem to be hurting him more than anything. As we get closer to the election, people are starting to pay closer attention to Trump, and I believe his poll numbers will begin to sag. The Biden campaign made a brilliant move last week to challenge Trump to 2 debates, with the first being the earliest presidential debate ever in June. Biden's team knows that Donald Trump's popularity will fall as soon as people start to tune into the race and are reminded of who Trump really is. With a very real chance of a felony conviction under his belt and a poor debate performance due to not being able to talk over President Biden and no crowd to play off of, Donald Trump could be in for a rough time over the next few months.